had very funny and nice banter blitz with my colleague, Miss Strategy, Anna Rudolph, and we finished our yet another successful project for Chess24, and this series will be out very soon, and you will know what we were working on during these days, but we're already done with it, so it was time to come back home, and here I am again for you. Today we're going to have tactics test, which is very interesting, I hope. And let me tell you how does it work. First, I'm going to show you how to train your tactical skills on Chess24. And it's very important because you will be very sharp, alert, and it's very important for the tournament and for the shape. I cannot say that I'm in best shape because I had flights today and just some hours ago I got back home, so let's see how I will solve tactics. And then I'm going to challenge you with custom positions. In chat, you just have to write that you want to play against me, so you have to write challenge me. Then I'm going to pick one of you, and we're going to play 5-minute blitz game, but it would not be a starting position. It will be tactic, which I already prepared for you. So if you solve it, then it would be great. And if you make a wrong move, then I have to punish you for that. So let's see if I'm able to punish you if you make wrong move, or at all if I'm able to solve tactics now. Okay. So what we are going to do is that we are going to go to Chess24 website, and this is how it looks. We are going to go to Learn and Tactics Trainer. Then you can choose when to stop. You can stop after each puzzle, you can stop on wrong answer, or you can never stop and solve tactics forever. Or there is also speed trainer, which is you can put 5 minutes training, or 3 minutes, or 1 minute, and that's really great just when you're playing the tournament before the games. It's really cool. You just put 5 minutes training test and you solve the tactics. For now, I'm going to stop after each puzzle because I want to explain afterwards what I was thinking, if I made any mistakes during solving this puzzle, and all the things that I can explain. Okay, so we're going to start our training, and there we go. Oops, I did something wrong, I guess. So I'm just going to solve tactics now. Okay, so it is my turn. Queen d7 was just played, and let's see. If I take on e7, it doesn't make any sense. You always have to check for sacrifices and checks first, but let's see if I can solve this puzzle. What I was thinking is rook e7, queen e7, knight f5, and then it should be horrible for black because we will have dart squared bishop and there might be queen g3 coming, but I'm not so sure. Maybe there is something very direct. If I play knight f5 directly, then I don't like bishop f6. That's why I want to take this bishop on e7. So let's try. Okay, it was right move. Yay! Okay. Seems like I'm a bit slow, but still, it was not very bad. In chat, you can, of course, participate and write what do you think, and I'm going to read it, and it would be very nice if you also solve the puzzles with me. Okay, we go to next puzzle because we've already seen what was the point here was that we just need to grab the dark squared bishop, and after knight f5, white will have several threats. It will be either queen g4, it will be either queen g4 or bishop d4. Black will have a lot of problems on g7 square and pawn, so it's going to be very bad for black. It is white's move again. Ooh, what's going on? There should be some kind of mate. I want to play knight g5 because then knight h7 is mate threat, but after sorry, I just mixed the squares. I want to play knight b4 because knight a2 is the threat. If he moves the knight from b2, then knight d3 will be mate. And if he moves the knight from d2, then I cannot give the mate. So knight f4 makes sense because if he moves one knight on d2, then it is mate. This was very beautiful puzzle. King c1, of course, is okay. It was actually only move, and after knight c5, there is zugzwang. King cannot move, and knights are obliged to go somewhere because the bishop cannot move from a1 and the c2 pawn is also blocked. So knight has to move, and either the knight moves from d2, then it will be knight g6 mate, or if knight moves from b2, then as we've already seen, it is knight d3 mate. That was nice. Once again, my move, and I am playing with white pieces. My king is a bit under attack. But there might, if I didn't have bishop on h3, then I would take rook h7 and queen h5 mate. So this gives me idea to play bishop d7, attack the queen, and also have rook h7, queen h5 mate. That was correct. So As I explained, after b takes a3, we should not touch the queen side, but just to see what is the idea, if we didn't have the bishop on h-file, then it would be mate. So where to go with this bishop? If we have tempo to attack something, then we should use it. Bishop d7 is great because after queen d7 or any queen move, we take on h7, king h7, and queen h5 mate. And I see that Jeroen75 is participating in the tactics test actively. Thank you. It's very nice that you're also solving the puzzles with me. And let's try this one. Okay. Now I'm playing against white, so I have black pieces. c3 comes to mind, but after c3, queen c3, queen c3, b takes c3, bishop a2 doesn't give me anything. My queen is hanging. Bishop e4 is an option because after queen b4 there would be mate on d1, and otherwise if bishop e4 then rook d2 is there. Queen d7 is the only thing he can do. We just should not go to b7 right now, and I think this is winning. That's nice. So after queen d2, bishop e4, I see in chat that we have a lot of answers to the puzzles. I think Griffadurus meant that bishop e4 is interesting. Yes, bishop e4 is the right move. And as we can see, queen has to move, or queen has to take the rook on d7. But after queen d7 that was played in the game here, rook d7, rook h8, it's important to defend the rook on d7, and we just have an extra queen. But what happened if he took on b4? If he took on b4, then we would take on d1 with mate. Let's continue. Okay. So something connected to king. If rook h8, king h8, queen e8, king h7, queen h5 is mate, rook h8, king g6, then I would go queen e8, I hope, or bishop f7. Both of them should be good. I think that's the idea. Rook h8, king h8, because king g6 didn't make any sense. And this is mate. So far, so good. So after rook d2, rook h8, king g6 doesn't make any sense because queen e8, and it will be mate very soon. And king h8, simple, queen e8, king h7, and queen h5 is mate. Let's try to solve this one. Something went wrong in the opening. What about bishop f5? It looks like we are winning the piece with bishop f5. Let's try. Yep, bishop f5. Now it's important not to take the bishop with the bishop, but with the queen, because after bishop d3, the knight would be hanging on g4. So queen e4 was a bad move, of course, and after bishop f5, queen f3 or queen e2, doesn't matter, we just take on d3 with the queen and we enjoy extra piece. Okay. White should have some problems on A file. So I see some kind of ideas connected to knight b4, rook c7, and rook a8 mate afterwards with rook a1. If I play knight b4 right away, then ab, and if I take the knight on c7, I think it's better to take the knight first, and after b takes c4, just play knight b4, rook a8, and rook a1 or queen a1 mate. So here king a2, king b1 would obviously be mate with queen a1, but after rook ec7, b takes, knight b4, ab, rook a8, then white is mated. Okay, so far we solved how many tactics? 7 tactics. Let's go for one more. Bishop e3. So in this type of positions, I always think that first we should check sacrifices and checks, of course, but what can be the problem? How can we get to this idea, which I'm going to make now? Bishop f3, and bishop e5, and mate. This is quite easy, because quite easy and very logical. Queen is on h4, it is very active, attacking the pawn on h2. So if we play bishop e5, then there is f4. If we take bishop f3, which we did already, then bishop has to be taken on f3, because king g1, queen g4 would be mate. And afterwards, the f pawn is already blocked, f2, f4 is not available anymore, and after bishop e5, white cannot defend the mate. So this kind of motive is very, very common, and you might have it in your games. So keep in mind, when your queen is very active, it is on h4, and you have the idea of bishop e5 and give the mate on h2, just take a second and take a look. If there is f4, but you have possibility to take the f-pawn, block it, and then play bishop e5, then you should for sure do it. Let's go to another puzzle. And I'm playing with white pieces. This is going to be a hard one. Okay, one thing I see is mate in 2. Is that possible? Rook c7, bishop c7, and knight a7. This was beautiful. Maybe it doesn't need so much explanation, because a rook c7 is very important, because our rook on b1 is open after bishop c7 and knight a7. It is simply mate, and king cannot go anywhere anymore. Let's continue. Okay. If I play rook d8, knight d8, queen d8, does it give me anything? Queen d8, king h7, knight g5, even king h6 is there. And if queen... Okay, maybe king h6 I can take knight f7, queen f7, queen h4, king g6, and queen h5 mate. But is there something better? Probably not. I like to give check, take, knight g5, take here, queen h4, and queen h5 mate. This was very nice, very beautiful, not so easy tactic, but it was indeed very beautiful. After rook b8, the rook b5, sorry, the rook left very important back rank. But when you have knight on e6, you might think that, okay, what can happen on the back rank? I have everything protected. But there are always sacrifices, so after rook d8, he has to take, because if he doesn't take and go, let's say, knight f8, then after knight f8, I can simply play queen to e7, and I don't think black can avoid mate. So after knight d5, knight d8, queen d8, king h7, knight g5 is very nice move, but before playing this, you have to see the idea, because if you don't see after king h6 anything, or maybe you're distracted with the check with queen h8, king g5, and let's say h4, then king can escape and he will have black will have extra rook. So before taking any decision that is connected to sacrifice, you should calculate very precisely. So after knight f7, king of course cannot go back because there is queen h8 mate. So after queen f7, queen h4, king g6 is the only move, but after king g6, queen h5 is the mate. Let's continue. Okay, so I see something connected to mate, which is knight f6. Knight f6, queen f6, then it is queen e8 mate, and if not, g takes f6, queen e8, rook e8, rook e8, king g7, bishop f8 is there, and bishop h6 mate. So if I'm right, this should be the right solution, but he went king g7 directly, but it is the same because we give mate. Very nice mating pattern. Knight f6 is not that easy, but once again, if we did not have anything on e-file, there would be mate on back rank. So knight f6 forces black to take with the pawn, because after g takes, well, after queen takes, of course, there is queen e8 mate, but after g takes, then there is queen e8, king g7, bishop f8 check, very important, because the king should not escape, and king g8, simply bishop h6. It's very important to control the g7 square. You have to take, and after rook e8, beautiful mate. Let's see what happens in the next puzzle. I have black pieces and it looks dangerous. The first move that comes to my mind is queen g3. Queen g3, king g3, e1, queen. If king f3, then there is mate. King f4 is mate with queen e3. Queen h2, king h2 is mate with queen h4, and also king h3 is mate. So I think I'm solving it nicely and mate. Also very nice puzzle from Chess 24 because here it is important to take a look what happens on the board. There is direct threat, which is Queen G7 mate. If we queen the pawn on E1, then Queen G7 would be mate. So we need some kind of tempo to win some kind of tempo, and Queen G3 is perfect for that. After Queen G3, if King H1, then we promote the pawn and it will be mate. He has to take, then we promote the pawn with check, and it's very different from the position which we had, because now the queen is on E1 and not on B3. After King H3, then Rook E3, check, very important, not other checks, simply Rook E3 because we oblige White King to go on H2, and after King H2, Queen H4, King G1, and beautiful mate on back rank. So White has to be very careful with the back rank. Let's continue. Okay, so first thing that comes to mind is Queen F8, Rook F8, Bishop H7, King H8, and Rook F8 mate. So I guess this is the solution. It was quite forcing. How to solve this is very nice motive here, because if we look at the position, we will see that these knights on f8 and e5 are defending everything. Knight on f8 is very strong defending the h7 pawn, and knight on e5 attacks the queen on f3, and also f7 pawn is f7 square is of course defended. So what comes to mind is Queen F8, Rook F8, and of course not Rook F8, but intermediate, very important, intermediate check on H7. We distract the king to go in the corner, and the Rook on F8 would not be defended anymore, which means that after King H8, there is mate on back rank. I see that Chess24 chose today some kind of back rank motive puzzles, because in many puzzles we saw that black or white has problems with the king, and it's very important to have the king safe. Back rank is important, and when I was a kid actually, my mother always told me, develop your pieces, make castle, and play something which will make your king to escape. Which meant that in Georgian, I don't know if it's in English also, but in Georgian we call it window for the king. I mean h3 or g3. And she was always warning me. Since I was 5 years old, I started to play when I was 5 years old. My mother is also a chess player. She was quite good, but when she got married, she quit chess. So now she got back and she's playing some tournaments again. But I'm very thankful to her because she always gave me this advice. Please develop, make castle, and window for your king. So now I'm going to repeat these words and give you this advice. When you develop and when you castle, make sure that your king has space to escape. Okay. I'm going to look at the chat, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask me any advice or anything. Soon we will start to have you solving the puzzles, which means that you have to you have to write in chat, challenge me, and then I will challenge you with custom position, and in 5 minutes you have to solve the puzzle. For the moment, I will continue to solve puzzles. And I read that Jeroen 75 writes, I was always taught not to weaken my king side pawn structure. That's also very interesting, but I think that weakening the pawn structure meant that don't advance the pawns too much. If you're following Miss Strategy's lessons, you would already know that you should not advance pawns very much when you have castle, because then your opponent would have many opportunities to attack and mate the king. But what I meant was just to have some space for the king, which is h3 or g3, which does not weaken the structure very much. Of course, depends on the positions, but it's always useful because then you should not worry about the back rank mate. Okay, so we have another position on the board. And interesting, very interesting. What kind of moves come to mind? Rook e4 is the move candidate. Queen g3 is also move candidate, but I'm not sure because then bishop f6 would be there. After rook e4, f takes e4, queen takes e4, I simply want to mate black. So I think that should be the solution. Bishop f6, then simple rook e1 might win. No, then there would be g5. Okay, there will be first check. If I give check, check. Very interesting. So what I am looking at is rook e4. You can feel free and write in chat what moves are you thinking about. Let's calculate. Rook e4, f takes, queen takes, bishop f6, queen h7, king f7, rook e1, I want mate, then rook d8 maybe, but if rook d8, bishop g6 and king f8, rook queen h8 mate. So I think this should be the right solution. Let's see if rook e4 is the right solution, and after queen e4 the puzzle ended here, but the moves which I was calculating was bishop f6. I hope that I don't miss any move that gives mate in one. But I hope that what I calculated was good. Because after bishop f6, queen h7, we can of course go to analysis, and I can show you how we could make a move here. But what I mean is, I think, easy to imagine because it trains our skills to solve tactics and to imagine it just blindfold, I mean. Generally, it's very good to look at the diagram, not have the pieces on board, but look at the diagram and solve tactics like this without moving pieces. So we should imagine at this moment that after bishop f6, there would be check on h7, king has to go to f7, and then important move, I think, would be to play rook e1. Then bishop g6 is a huge threat to mate, and I don't see any defense for black. Maybe he can play bishop e5, and it will get very complicated. I think I'm missing something because the puzzle should not end here. After bishop e6, f6, let's try to check what happens if I give a lot of checks, which is queen h7, king f7, bishop g6, king e7, rook e1, king d7 or king d8, and I don't see that. I don't see that white is winning. Jeroen75 suggests that after bishop f6 I can play bishop f6. And what do you want to play after rook f6? Bishop f6, rook f6 won't be that perfect, I think. It is very interesting puzzle, so what I'm going to do is I will try to go to analysis and analyze the position here. So here we can put analyze puzzle, and then we are able to analyze everything. After e4, rook e4, f takes, queen takes, bishop f6 was what I meant, and Captain the TT suggests that I should go queen h7 first, king f7, and bishop f6. And I think that's maybe the right solution, because after king f6, gf is not possible, of course. After king f6, there is queen f5, king e7, rook e8, rook e1, sorry, king has to go to d8, and it is mate. Amazing! Thank you, Captain the TT, for your help, because I was a bit confused. I was analyzing the lines, which was queen h7, king f7, and rook e1. My idea was that I wanted bishop g6 mate, but maybe it's not so good, because even if he takes on b2, I think I don't have anything more than perpetual. And after bishop g6, can the king escape? That's a fun line. What do you guys think? Is this position winning? I guess it's winning, because the king on g5 is horribly bad. I think I can simply go back and I don't see how black can prevent mate. Maybe with queen f7. I'm just not using engine, so of course on chess24 it's possible to use the engine, but since we are solving tactics and we are calculating lines, I want to challenge myself and don't use the help of the engine. So what I'm thinking now is that this is too complicated. Of course, rook e1 is not the right decision. I don't know because of bishop b2 or even because of bishop e5. That's what I was wondering about, but maybe bishop a5 is a very bad move because I can give check, but he should go on g8 back, because if he goes king e7, then we would simply take on g7, and after king e8 we win the queen here, and after king d8 we win the rook on f8. Dr. Prof. Evil suggests that he thinks that it wins, but it's very complicated. It is indeed complicated, so what Captain DTT suggested, bishop f6, I think is the right move. Later, of course, we can confirm it with engines, but it seems to work because you have to take with the king. Pawn gf is not possible, so after king f6, queen f8, all very forced, king e7, rook e1 check. Once again, king doesn't have anywhere to go but only on d8, and after queen f8, king d7, rook e7 is the mate. I love this possibility of chess24 that when you're solving puzzles, then you can simply stop, and if you're doubting about something, you can analyze, go on the little button which I showed you, and analyze the position. Of course, it's possible to analyze it with engine. You can simply, I think you can simply scroll down and put analysis, and there will be an engine. But at the moment we are not using that because we want to challenge ourselves, and now I think it's time to challenge you guys. What I want is that on chat you write challenge me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose some kind of tactic. Then I'm going to challenge you with the custom position, and you have to solve the tactic. We are going to play 5-minute blitz game. If you win, you will get a plus from me, and if you make a wrong move, then I have to think what was wrong and try to punish you. Maybe this punish you seems very bad how I say it, but what I mean is that I have to react well, and simply you have to solve the puzzle right. Griff Federius writes, challenge me. I will definitely challenge you. Just for other premium members who are on the show, please do not challenge me. Just write on chat, challenge me, and I'm going to choose one of you. Do not challenge me. Okay, so I'm going to choose the tactic now for you, and I'm going to challenge Griff Federius. Let me see. what kind of tactic I want to choose against Gryffindors. Was it correct? Okay, I think I found the one which I would like to challenge you. So let's go for it. Yep, I've found it. Okay, so I'm going to just a second. I'm not very quick with the settings here, but I'm definitely going to challenge you. And I have the tactic ready already, so get ready. Something's wrong with my settings. Somehow I cannot challenge anybody with the custom position. But I hope that I'm going to fix it. If not, I am going to challenge Gryffindors or Gryffindors as I promised. But sorry for the moment, because I could not find the way to challenge you with custom position. Something went wrong with my settings. I'm very sorry, but we're going to play blitz game and I'm going to comment it. So it will be mix of blitz game and banter blitz, of tactic trainer and banter blitz. I challenged Gryffindors from France. And I hope he agrees. He writes that blindfold is good too. I hope that you received my challenge. Please confirm if you did. I see that I challenged you. So I'm waiting for you to accept the challenge. Otherwise, I'm going to, yeah, and we have it. Okay, so, sorry, we have it. And I'm going to play against Gryffindors. Okay, we're playing 5-minute games, and I'm going to play my favorite triangle sloth once again, and let's see which line he will choose. Note boom. We have note boom on board, and generally here white plays e3 or e4. A4 is also a move. I think it transposes, because after e3 there would be b5, and we would transpose to the main line of the note boom. So let's see what white will choose now. Okay. Do you play this with white? I'm asking my opponent. And I read in chat that Elias Sidali says, play me please, please play me, I want to play blitz very much. Okay, I'm going to play against you once I am done with this game. E3 and G3 was a bit confusing for me, because generally here white takes AB, and bishop c3 is the move, but what I will do here is I will just try to develop, and after bishop g2 I think I can once again develop, or just take the knight. I think I will take the knight, and we'll develop the knight on d7, not to have any problems connected with knight e5 afterwards. I have to be a bit careful, because knight e5 might be annoying for me, and this pin here. I'm going to protect the pawn on b6. It is true that I don't have development, but I have extra pawn, which is big compensation for my development. So if I finish the development, then I will just have an extra pawn, and my plan is to castle, go queen e7, and take my rook on the queen side. A, B, C, B is of course possible, but this means that I have now normal pawn structure. White played knight e5, which is very interesting. He wants to win the exchange, but even if I sacrifice the exchange, then it would be terrible for white, because white squares would be very, very, very weak. And Gary Catastrophe writes that Gryffindors means bear claw. I didn't know that. Is that in French? Now I'm not going to give the exchange. I'm just going to defend everything. White has 2 bishops, but I think I'm not afraid of the attack. At the moment, I will just give the check. King h1, unfortunately, I cannot take on e5. But what I can do is castle. And let's see if I get mated here. I am not very afraid, because I think that I will always have, in worst case, knight e8 to defend the mate, or queen f8. So I'm going to attack the bishop on d2. and then I'm going to advance the pawns on queen side. Let's see how it works. Bishop h6. Now I don't have, white doesn't have any threat, so I'm simply going to just to play on the queen side because that's where I have advantage. So I have to do something on queen side. What is his plan? His plan might be bishop g7, queen rook f4, queen h7, and rook h4, rook h8 mate. That's scary. So I'm not going to allow this, and I'm going to play knight e8. Prophylactics for bishop g7. Now I think I'm going to be greedy and I'm going to take on e5 with the threat. I could also play rook d3 actually, but I like knight queen e5 because now the c3 pawn is also hanging. All I have to do is to play a bit faster. I think I have advantage, very big advantage, because I don't see any mating threats. And after bishop f4, I will take on c3 if I'm not very greedy. Ooh, I didn't expect that he would exchange queens because I think white's only hope in this position is to attack somehow. Here he wants to grab my a5 pawn, which I'm not going to allow. I'm on greedy mood today. But it is true that it's not easy for me to get an easy point from this position. I think I would advance the pawns on a file. I will defend it with rook d3. And after bishop e5, very good move. My knight is a bit out of play, which I don't really like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to overprotect the pawn on a4 and somehow get my knight into play. After knight d6, I'm threatening to take the e4 pawn, and he played e5, which is correct. Now I have to be very careful with the back rank, because if I miss some tactics, then I might have problems on back rank. Usually, this pawn structure is very good, but I think that I can always play h5 and have king h7 to escape. Okay, my rook pawn is not hanging, but it's still difficult to play. Yeah, that's what I meant, that the pawn is not hanging, because I had little tactic in mind, and now it seems very bad for white. Thank you. Thanks for the game. What I should tell you is that here generally in Noteboom, if you're playing the main line, you can check my video series on Slav, and you can also understand some ideas with white and with black if you're not familiar with this opening. But generally, after a5, what happens is that white takes on b5. Now, black cannot take because knight b5 would happen. So what black does is bishop takes bishop takes, pawn takes, b3, and black cannot take here because then it would be bad position. White takes with tempo the b5 pawn, and after bishop d7 on, or any other move, he can take on b3. White doesn't have, black doesn't have anymore the extra pawn, and it is very good advantage for white. So here, instead of c3, black plays bishop b7, gives the pawn back, but is playing for the pawns on queen side. This is a very critical position, so if you want to go into much more details, please check my video series. I explain there everything in quite details, so check it, and I hope we're going to play Note Boom again. What I will do now is I'm going to accept the challenges. I have here the challenges, and I promised Elias Sidali to play one more game. So Elias Sidali, please challenge me for 5-minute game, 5-minute blitz game. I'm waiting for Elias Sidali to challenge me, or I'm going to challenge him myself. So we are going to play one more game against Elias Sidali from Norway. I challenged Elias, and he accepted. I'm playing against Elias with black pieces, so let's see what is going to happen. E4, no triangle Slav anymore, but I guess neither will be on the board. Okay, now it's about white to choose if he wants to play the main line or play bishop b5, which is very popular nowadays, but Elias chose to play main line, and we got Najdorf on board. If you like Najdorf with black pieces, you should also check my series on Chess24, because that was the very first series and the very first project for me for Chess24. So I think it's quite interesting. You can also check if I improved in presenting or not, and you can leave comments on the video series where I'm always looking at and trying to answer. So we have a very famous bishop e3 line. Usually I think white goes castle here. A3 is a bit new move for me, but let's try to just develop, and we will have opposite colored opposite castles soon. Elias is trying to attack right away without playing castle. So I'm just wondering if I have to be afraid of that or not. Okay, let's go d5, because when they attack on the king side or queen side, it is always useful to break through in the center, if possible, of course. G5 is interesting, but what I intended to do on G5 was to go d4. That was my intention, and after gf to take back the pawn. And I think I'm doing fine because I will get back the piece anyway. And I like this position. This looks very good for me. I have dark squared bishop, which is very important in Nidorf generally because white is trying to attack on king side, and having dark squared bishop always protects the king very nicely. So I don't feel any danger on the king side, and now I think it would be very tough for white to defend because there is bishop h4 check coming. I would give check just to make the king go away. Then I would give another check. And here I would play bishop g5. Maybe bishop g5 was not that necessary. I think now I can simply take this one. Oh no, that was bad. Why did I take it? Well, okay, not bad. cb, rook c8, of course I have, but I thought I had queen a5, and then I missed that there is b4, of course. But after bishop b3, rook c8 also looks very good with the idea of rook c2. So the queen has to move. And rook c2 is not, of course, mate, but at least I will start checking some mating ideas. Okay. What I can play? I can, of course, sacrifice the bishop, but I don't see any need for that. So I'm just going to go back, and the position. And my opponent writes that he hates his position. I agree that it's not very nice, but I think that white shouldn't allow d5 break so easily. Queen d3 was played, and after queen d3, what was my idea with bishop e7 is to give check, and after b4 to take bishop b4. Now I can take on a1, but I think that it would be better if I take on b4. Knight c3 is the only move, and my opponent resigned. Thank you very much for playing. I just have a little advice for you, I think. Generally, a3, of course, is a move, bishop e7 and g4, but I always like when white castles on queen side first and then starts the attack, because king in the center, as it happened in the game, might be very dangerous for white, especially if black gets a dark squared bishop. Then he does not have any danger on king side, and d5 break comes and he frees his position. He gets rid of the d6 pawn, which is supposed to be weakness. But what I would recommend you is to castle first, and of course, if you have not seen my colleagues' Miss Strategies lessons on opposite castle, you should definitely check, because she covered it very nicely in all details. She explains all weaknesses, advantages and disadvantages of the position. So Definitely check it, and next time I hope that it will be much better game for you. Thank you, guys. Thank you for being in, for attending the show and being with me for this hour. I'm very sorry because I had some problems setting with the settings, but I hope for next time it will be all better, very good, but I know that you still enjoy to play the blitz. So if I didn't manage to challenge you with a custom position, at least we had some fun and we played some games. My next show will probably be on Thursday, next Thursday. It's I think supposed to be every Thursday, but of course you will know it from Chess 24. If you go on watch and then shows, you will see what shows are coming. Chess 24 is doing a great job having a lot of shows, so I hope you don't miss any of them, and you're having fun and learning a lot of things from the show. Thank you very much for being with me. I wish you good luck, and of course, you should definitely solve tactics on Chess 24. It helps you to be alert, be in shape, and especially before the game and before the tournament, it's amazing to go on Chess 24 site. Solve tactics, either speed training or any type of training that suits you. So I wish you good luck and see you next time. Bye.